sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Birds jumping and I hear my name, grasping into a life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah. Lion's gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Kids across the land. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah.
You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig any deeper now? I gave you all I own, put you on this golden throne, but I'm a You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now.
You always want what you can't have, and what you have you can. Still my heart, the moment I laid eyes on it. Well, how do you know how you will feel when everything changes? Where will I go? Where will you be? How will I know the one for me? Well, how do you know? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? How do you You always want what you can't have, and what you have you can. Still my heart, the moment I laid eyes on it. Well, how do you know how you will feel when
Welcome everyone back to the SimZone. We're here for round 7 of the PlayStation GT3 Championship, and we're currently watching Division 3 right now. 15 cars lined up on the grid tonight, and we are in to qualifying, about 2 minutes in now to qualifying. Coming into this round, let's have a look at the standings. SVV Baptista leading the championship on 304 points, but he's not currently here today, so he may lose this championship lead after this round. SVV Santos in P2 on 288 points, so just 16 points behind. And then we have Bion in P3 on 275 points, so 29 points behind the championship leader Baptista. So I think they're both going to overtake Baptista here in the championship. There's currently no times have been set at the moment, and the track is damp with what seems to be light rain at the moment. Let's see who's going to be the first driver to set a lap time. And I think it may actually be Lager here, who unfortunately missed last round. So he is P4 in the championship on 211 points. So quite a bit back after missing a round. He's now into the final sector. Let's see where this puts him. W is a reserve, so he won't be able to go out in this qualifying session. And as Lager comes through the final corner now, what time is it going to be? Is it even valid? Let's see. As he comes across the line, and there we go, 148.129. So that's the first lap time we've got in. And then we've got the number 420 car of the Devil's Son coming up towards the final corner, who will also put in a lap time. Let's see if he can beat Lager here. Puts in the lap time. There we go. No, 9/10 off Lager there in P1. So not quite close yet. And Misantos, there we go, puts in a 146.8 in the Mercedes. A second quicker than Lager, and Lager's returned to the pits. He may have been on slicks actually. I wouldn't be surprised if he was. But Santos setting the pace, setting the benchmark for the rest of the grid here. Bion put it into P2, just 5/10 behind on a new livery there. Looks quite nice. And who else is about to cross the line? We've got the 88 car who did cross the line to M. Ferrer, but not able to put in a lap time yet. The Devil's Son is coming up towards... Actually, no, we've got the number 72 driver, Claychamp, is coming up towards the final corner now. There we go, running slow, kept it within track limits I think, and he crosses the line now. What lap time is it going to be? Puts it into P2, just 1.5 tenths off of Misantos's pole time, and he returns it to the pits. Then Swiss rolls. Oh, that's a Ferrari in the background, sliding all over the place. I'm not sure what Ferrari that was. Could have been... who could that have been? Possibly Leg? Claychamp is in the pits, or Muzzy, one of those two, but Swiss comes through the final corner now and crosses the line. Is it going to be a lap time? There we go, puts into P7, 5.3 seconds off. Quite a way for him to go, but the number 77 car now of XA17 coming across the line. Looks like he got a bit of a wiggle there out of the final corner and puts it to P7. Now we've got WRC Mad Max about to cross the line. The other AMG driver, it's 3 out tonight actually. There we go, puts it into P5, 1.8 seconds off, so good improvement from Mad Max. And now Tord in the number 666 Lamborghini crosses the line and puts it into P9. We've also got M. Ferrer crossing the line. There we go, P9 now. That drops Torde down to P10. So he's 8.6 seconds off the pace. These conditions definitely not the easiest. Blue flags are being waved then for someone out on track. And I believe Misantos has... No, he's moving over there, so he's not going to improve this time around. Number 3 car just crossed the line. That's Leg into P9. And then we've got the number 25 car of Misantos. So as we saw earlier, he moved over wanted to give himself some space, I think, before he sets another lap. You can see he's going quite slow here. Just waiting for the drivers in front to open up a bit of a gap so he doesn't have any traffic. But Swiss Rose is coming behind now, up towards the final corner. Let's see if he can improve. Currently 5.3 seconds off. And he crosses the line. There we go, puts it into P7, now 4.4 seconds off. But Miss Santos still on pole position here. Where is the... got the 77 car of XA17 about to cross the line. Is he going to improve, crossing the line now? And there we go, puts it into P7. But like I said, Miss Santos still on pole. Clay Champ is coming through the first corner now. Bion is not into the third sector just yet. He's still got a way to go at the moment. He's taking a wide line through. I'm not going to pronounce that corner name, but coming down towards Mineshaft now. And then the Crocodiles. He seems to be on... seems to be quite smooth. Does Bion in the Bentley. You can see how planted it is. Coming up towards the penultimate corner. Oh, and he's run wide there. That's not going to be a valid lap time for him. And a few drivers now returning to the pits. Just 25 seconds left of this qualifying session. And he crosses the line with no improvement. So that was invalid. Now the 420 car of the Devil's Son coming through the final corner. Currently 2.2 seconds off. Quite a way to go for him. But let's see if he can improve as he crosses the line. Now there we go. Puts it into P5. 1.6 seconds off. And the track's just going to be wetter and wetter as we reach the end of this qualifying session. Swiss Rose now crossing the line. Puts it into P8. So good improvement there from him. The 27 car, that is Milo, who hasn't been able to set a lap time yet. That was the car we saw earlier, very sideways. But I believe he's kept it within the track limits now. This is going to be his first valid lap time and his only lap time he'll be able to set. Let's see where this puts him. Clay Champ, there we go, puts it 600th behind Miss Santos. Milo puts it to P7. They're not the best qualifying session, not what he'd be hoping for. And that's his qualifying session over. We've got Lager then 5 tenths behind. Currently his last chance to improve. He crosses the line and puts it onto pole position. 800ths quicker than Miss Santos in P2. Very good lap from Lager. And takes provisional pole position, but we've still got Bion out on track and the number 25 car of Miss Santos also on the track. So both of them have a chance of improving here. But the first one to cross the line is going to be Bion. Oh, and he's aborted his lap there, so no improvement for him. So this just leaves Miss Santos now. He's coming up towards the Crocodiles. And he only needs 800ths here to get that pole position as he rounds the final corner now. Onto the start-finish straight. Is it going to be an improvement? He crosses the line now, and no, it's not an improvement. So that leaves Lager on pole. Miss Santos landing up on the front row with him, just 800ths behind. Clay Champ in P3, 1/10 behind, and a Bion also on the second row with Clay Champ 6/10 behind. But make sure to stay tuned because we'll be back for the race very shortly. Here we go, onto the formation lap now. And we've got some difficult conditions here. Greasy track. And the rain is going to continue, so possibly... well, I think the drivers are going to be on wet tyres for this race. The track's only going to get wetter and wetter. They need to manage their wet tyres at the start because they don't really want to burn them up at all. At the moment, not too much water on track, but it goes from greasy to damp very, very quickly. And looks like Peppermelon hasn't been able to get readied up in time, so he'll be starting from the pit lane then. Hoshi in the comments saying supporting Bion, top 3 are really close. Very, very close between the top 3 as we saw in qualifying. And Ifan in the comments, races in Division 1. Good to see him here on stream tonight. But let's get your predictions in the chat of who you think is going to finish in the top 3 here. The front engine car is much better in these mixed conditions, the greasy conditions, than the mid-engine cars. They seem to handle their tyres much better, and especially the Mercedes. Ferraris do struggle a bit more, and likewise the McLarens as well. Kenny in the comments saying good luck to all. Kingy also saying in the comments good luck all. Hope the Bentleys are competitive. Well, at the moment we've got Lager on pole in a Bentley, so it's boding well for the Bentley drivers. But the Audis, no Audis in Division 3, but the Audis should be good here at Kyalami, and likewise the Mercedes. We've got one Mercedes on the front row at the moment. But it's all down to conditions, and the mixed conditions, the front engine cars seem to suit much more. But here we go, rounding up the final corner now. Drivers lining up side by side, getting ready for this race start. The start-finish straight at Kyalami, possibly the widest part of the circuit. And here we go as we cross the line. We are green, there we go. And Lager off to a very good start. Swiss Rods with the drive-through. So he's been off position or even speeding at the start. But Lager's up ahead and he's going to hold the inside, coming down towards turn 1. There's Santos on the outside. Can he hold it round there? Not too sure at the moment. Yes, he will. But that is Clay Champ in the background defending the Devil Sun, actually. What's happened to Bion? Is he still there? He's still there or thereabouts. Oh, there's been contact between Bion and the Devil Sun. And the Devil Sun tried for a move. And it didn't pay off well for him. A bit eager to go for that move. And he needs to be careful rejoining here. He's got no cars coming. And he's just going to hit the wall. Not the best way to get the car going again, but yeah, a bit too eager on lap 1 to go for a move, and he suffered the consequences. But Lager still leading the race here with a 7/10 gap already to Miss Santos in P2. We saw the qualifying session was very close between those two, so Miss Santos definitely has the pace, but currently defending from Clay Champ, now coming up towards the left-hander, or you could call it a hairpin even. But down towards the hill, down to Mineshaft, and then towards the Crocodiles. Looks like Clay Champ is extremely close, but not close enough yet to get the move done. Let's see into this very heavy braking zone for the Crocodiles. Nope, Santos sticks to the racing line there, and Bayern with that little incident with the Devil Sun is still very close behind, and Clay Champ's going to have a look up the inside, and he's got the job done. I think a bit of contact, but really nothing to be worrying about. And a good move there from Clay Champ. And that is Milo very sideways through the final corner. As we saw in the background, Swiss rolls into the pits now for his drive-through penalty. Santos is going to try and follow Claychamp to close that gap back up to Largo, and he's already opened up a 3-second gap on the opening lap here. We got some predictions in the comments now. That is, oh, Swiss rolls with a stop go 30, and not only has he got a drive-through, he's now got a stop go 30 for speeding in the pit lane. But yeah, on to the predictions. Jan in the comments saying with Santos in first, Largo in second, and Bion in third. And Hoshi saying Largo in first, Santos second, and Bion in third. But at the moment, Largo leading the race, Claychamp in second, and Santos in third. You can see in the background, Bion in fourth, Milo in fifth. That is Leg in sixth. Just rounding off that corner there in the background. I'm currently watching him now, and he's got Mad Max all over the back of him here, really hassling him on these opening laps. Coming through the S's now, taking slightly different lines there, but it's still, as it were, those two not changing any positions. Ferrer into the pits already, not sure why. And there we go, he's dropped off the air jacks and he's down now. So he'll be exiting the pits once again. But Swiss Rolls and Torde very, very close. Looks like Swiss Rolls has got the move done on Torde, so that should update once we cross the next sector line. XA17 is on the back of Muzzy at the moment, looking to make this move. Muzzy doing a good job. Both these drivers very new to the SimZone, and that's both drivers bouncing over the sausage curb through Cheetah corner, and just following each other there. So easy to do that through that penultimate corner, but they seem to have got it going straight away once again, and luckily they didn't hit the wall, so that would have been devastating for their race here at round 7. Kyalami, and look how much later on the brakes XA17 is coming to the first corner. He's very eager to get this move done. But the Ferrari of Muzzy holding on very well here. And the track getting wetter and wetter, but still greasy. I'm sure their wet tyres are struggling. And the track temp 27 degrees as well, so it's going to be hard to cool them down if these drivers are on wet. And if they're on slicks, and the track does become wetter, they will have to pit for wet tyres, so we may even see some strategy here for Division 3. But that's Swiss Rolls into the pits then for his stop go, and he's cleared that. Luckily not picked up another one. Let's go back to this battle between Leg and WRC Mad Max. Coming up towards the Crocodiles now. Looks like Mad Max is still holding on to Leg, but Leg very, very late on the brakes, almost making contact there. He's practically pushing him round, but good job to him for getting it stopped in time. And I would not want to be in Mad Max at the moment. The amount of pressure he must be feeling. And that is Santos, who's made a huge mistake early on in the race. Look how much damage he's got on the front of that Mercedes, and he's still opting to stay out. That's W down the inside through the final corner. But Santos has definitely lost the car somewhere into the wall. The Devil's Son likewise is into the pits. Maybe on the wrong tyres. He may be coming in to change. He has got some damage on the front, but that shouldn't really hinder him too much. And this has allowed Bion now to close up to the back of Claychamp. The gap just 7.5 tenths between those two. Coming up to Sunset corner now. There's no sunset here. No sun out here at Kyalami this time around. But he's really closing in the gap now to Claychamp. The Ferrari not able to make use of these conditions at the moment. The Bentley much more confident. It seems to be much more stable as well. We've seen Milo getting the rear end out of that Ferrari. He's down in P4 at the moment. The Bentley just seems to be so planted in these conditions. I think it's just a matter of time before Bion can get past, but we know Milo, he's won, I think he won last round at Laguna Seca. Let's just double check that. Yes, he did. He won last round at Laguna Seca. on his debut race at the SimZone, so he's definitely got what it takes on track. And I'm sure he's going to be able to hold off Bion here for another few laps, unless he makes a mistake. And I spoke way too soon there, and he's hit the sausage curb once again. The commentator's curse coming into action, and he's lost the position to Milo as well. So where is Leg? He's in P6 currently. Mad Max in P5. Claychamp has got it going once again, but look at the amount of time he's lost. He's not going to be happy with himself for that one. But W in P8 has actually lost the position to Misantos. I'm not sure how Misantos has been able to drive with that amount of damage on his Mercedes. But W with a late move down the inside, and he's got the job done. Very late move. And Misantos braking very early there for turn 1, struggling with the damage, of course. But good move there by W. Up the inside, and Largo with a 6-second lead already to Bion in P2. Yeah, very opportunistic move from W, and it paid off for him. Coming through Sunset Corner now, I think this is where Misantos is going to struggle a lot. Must have some insane understeer on that Mercedes. But he seems to be doing okay. He's keeping up with W. W with no damage isn't really able to put away as much as we thought he would be able to. But he's bounced over the exit curb there, and that's not going to help his run coming up towards the hill. Jansen commentator's curse, always when I'm on the mic, yes. Always happen. Ethan in the comments saying entrance of the pit lane is difficult on the circuit. Yeah, very difficult. It's so narrow, it's a very sharp left-hander. You can easily hit the pit wall, or the pit entry wall, once you're in the pit lane. But Misantos now on the outside of Mercedes, spitting flames there on the downshift, but he's trying to go for the switchback. Hasn't got it just yet, but he's going to have the toe coming down the start-finish straight now. Will he be able to get this move done coming down towards turn 1? He's going to have a look up the inside now, late on the brakes. No, he's not able to do that. He's had to tuck back in. And white flag's being shown. There is a slow car somewhere. Muzzy into the pits. Has he got any damage? No, I think he might be changing tyres here. W defending for his life now in P7. I'm really not sure how Misantos is able to keep up, but he's doing a brilliant job. Just driving through the damage, coming through Sunset Corner now. It's a different line there from Misantos. Once again, that could be the damage that is hindering his turning capabilities. Coming through the S's now, he's still right on the back of W, and this seems to be the closest battle on track at the moment. Track is still greasy and still raining. I don't think that is forecast to change for the rest of this race. Let's go on board here with W. Now, God forbid nothing happens as soon as we go on board of them. Because we've seen the commentator's curse happen once. Here we go. Let's hope it doesn't happen again. That's Misantos very late on the brakes there. Gets it tucked in. And you can see he's struggling, but he's managing to keep up just about with W, and he's much quicker there through Cheetah up towards the final corner now. Missing the apex ever so slightly. I think both of them did that. W not getting the apex on the inside, and Misantos following him. He's trying to break the slipstream coming down the start-finish straight. He's going to pick up the marbles there. He needs to be careful. Really don't want to be picking up them so early on in the race. But down towards turn 1 now, and you can see the severe damage on the front of that Mercedes. These two battling is allowing the McLaren behind to catch up. I think that's XO17 in the background. got JR in the comments also saying Torde's struggling with the balance in the wet. I think Torde's a very new driver to ACC in general, and that's Santos. Had a much better exit there, but had to back out. And look at the understeer he's got coming through the S's. Really not able to carry the amount of speed that W can carry. But I think he's going to try and hold it towards, hold it for the rest of this race really. He'd lose too much time pitting. Doesn't want to do that. As long as he can keep up with W, I think he'll be happy here. Now look at the exit that Santos has got. Look how late he is on the brakes for the final corner, almost making contact there with W, but he's going to have a nice run down the start, finish straight, and W's going to have to go defensive coming down towards turn 1. Santos with the damage, also probably going to hinder his straight line speed here, but W going defensive. Santos early on the brakes for turn 1. Is he going to try the outside? I think he did try it, but it didn't work off for him. Didn't pay off there. So now he's still settling for P8, but XA17 in the background. Let's go back. Trackside, I believe it is XA17. Yes, it is, and he's really catching up to these two up ahead. But they're also catching up to Leg up in front. The gap to Leg is 1.5 seconds at the moment. And Claychamp is down in P4 after his mistake, but he's caught up to the back of Milo now. Milo really struggling with the car, and we saw the back end of that Ferrari number 27 stepping out in the last corner. Let's see if he can keep it together here. But you see there another wiggle from Milo's setup, definitely not the best for the wet here. And he's really struggling with the car at the moment. But Claychamp has closed the gap now to within a second to Milo up in front.
We are halfway through, not over yet.
And Milo's really struggling with that car. Claychamp has to be careful there on the exit curb. Track is still greasy. And I'm sure the wet tyres are starting to possibly cool down a bit more if they are on wets. I'm not too sure. It may have been a bold choice for those that are staying on the slicks. And that's Claychamp very wide once again, almost losing the car, but he's held it together somehow. And Peppermelon into the pits. Has he picked up any damage? I think he may have just stopped there or went to repair his damage. The Devilson and Swiss Rolls very close as well. I think the Devilson still has the damage on the front of his car. So he hasn't repaired that. It must have been a tyre change then for the Devilson. Possibly going onto the wet tyres, but it's not an easy strategy call for the drivers in Division 3. I'm sure we're going to see a similar thing for Divisions 2 and 1. That Swiss rolls very deep into turn 1. And he's going to compromise his exit. But the Devilson not able to capitalise on that, so he's going to hold on. Swiss rolls is going to hold on for P11. Once more, coming up towards Sunset Corner. The Devilson still not close enough for a move, but this is definitely not the corner to go for a move unless you're already side by side beforehand. But back to this battle. W still up ahead of Santos, and he's trying to break the slipstream once more. He's trying to get the slipstream of Leg up ahead. Don't think he's may just be in range. But it's not going to be much of a slipstream. Not much of a tow coming down the start-finish straight now towards turn 1. Up towards Sunset Corner, then Santos still on the back of W, carrying heavy damage. Let's go back to this battle. Milo is really facing some pressure from Claychamp in P3 and P4. Claychamp has really reeled him in towards the second half of this race. He's much later on the brakes there, coming down towards Mineshaft now. And different lines through the corner. Milo going slightly defensive, taking a tighter line. And now towards the Crocodiles. Milo, Claychamp a bit too far back to go for the move. And he's gone for it. No, he hasn't. Just broke a bit later than Claychamp there. Then Milo, sorry. And Milo very deep into the corner. Claychamp's going to have the inside for the next corner. Cheetah. And I think he's going to get the move done. And there we go. Bouncing over the curb on the inside slightly, but not hitting the sausage curb. And he's kept it together. So good move there by Claychamp. And he's run wide through the final corner though. Is that going to allow Milo to get the run coming down the start-finish straight down into turn 1, which I believe is called Crowthorne. Yes, it is. And Milo is going to have a look up the outside. Claychamp going defensive into turn 1. Milo much later on the brakes there, trying to hold it around the outside. And I think he's going to be run wide there, still within track limits. But Claychamp holding on to P3 once more. Milo having another look up the inside. But he's had to back out of that, not close enough yet. Claychamp running slightly wide, picking up a bit of grass on the outside tyres there. Now down in towards Sunset Corner. Claychamp's going to hold on for a bit. Let's go down to this battle for P7. W still holding on. Oh, there's contact between the two. Miss Santos has made contact there with W. And he's going to have to wait to return that position. W struggling to get it going once again. But Miss Santos off the racing line is going to have to let W pass, and they've got no cars to worry about. There we go. Good sportsmanship from Miss Santos. That's not going to help with his car at all. He's going to have some more damage on the front end. And we switched over to them just in the nick of time. Well, it could have been a curse. There's no way of telling. But unfortunate for Miss Santos, is starting on the front row. He's now down in P8 with severe damage. And looks like the Devil's Son has got past Swiss Rolls. Swiss Rolls not able to keep up, struggling in these conditions at the moment. And we'll go back to the battle for P3. Hold on, I thought... oh, the Devil's Son's made a mistake coming to turn 1. And that's allowed Swiss Rolls to catch right up to the back of him now, coming through turn 3 down towards Sunset Corner now. Looks like the Devil's Son is really struggling here. They have to let the leaders pass. I think that is Lager, who's making his way through traffic now. The race leader has got a 13, nearly 14 second gap to Bion in P2, so he's very clear here for round 7, unless he makes a mistake, barring any mistakes that he does make. But there we go, the Devil's Son letting him through. Very well done from the back markers, not losing them any time. But the Devil's Son really having to defend now from Swiss Rolls just behind. Swiss Rolls too far back to make this move just yet. They've got Hoshi saying, please don't watch my car, and Div2 commentators curse. Same for Deedee. Let's hope it doesn't happen. But no promises. And we've had a retirement from the race. Not sure who that would be. But back to this battle. W running in P8. And that's a huge mistake there from W. Got a big snap of oversteer, and I think he's hit the wall. Yes, he has. He's going to have some rear diffuser damage there. Yellow flags are out, and he's got it going once again. But yeah, some more damage on the Lamborghini. number 157, and he's lost a couple positions in spinning, and he's really struggling with the car there. He may not be on wet tyres actually, and he's spun the car once again, hit the wall, and he's back on track. But I think he may want to pit here, possibly on slicks. He's really struggling with that car, so back down to this battle between the Devil's Son and Swiss Rolls. If the cameraman wants to pan over, there we go. As the Devil's Son slightly wide, both of their cars bouncing over the exit curb of the S's. But they've kept it together, and looks like Swiss Rolls is dropping off ever so slightly to the Devil's Son just up ahead. And also the battle for P3. Oh, we've actually got another battle for P12. That's W into the pit, so possibly to change tyres. But Mfera and Torde battling it out for P12. Oh, Torde's into the wall. He's made a huge mistake there. And let's see if he can get the car going once again. Yes, he does. But he's made a huge mistake. And it doesn't look like too much damage on the front of that Lamborghini. But he's not going to be on the back of Mfera now. And he's going to be lapped here. That looks like Misantos. And is that XA17 behind? Yes, it is. XA17 behind him. Currently staring at nothing at the moment. There we go. The gap does say 2.2 seconds. It looks to be less than that, actually. Let's see what's across the next sector line, which is just on the exit of this corner down towards Mineshaft. Does seem to be less than 2 seconds. Here he goes across the next sector line now. Update 1 second is the gap between Misantos and XA17. But quickly down to this battle once again. Swiss Rolls catching back up to the Devil's Son. And he seems to gain it in Sector 1 and Sector 2, but loses it in Sector 3. Or towards the end of Sector 2 is where Swiss Rolls loses the time. Bit of a wiggle there on the exit. But he's really stuck to the back of him, coming through the S's now. The McLaren taking a lot of curb on the inside. Needs to be careful there, doesn't want to bottom out or unsettle the car. Milo also in P4 catching up to the back of Claychamp once again. The gap was around 2 seconds, now it's down to 1.4. And a big slide there from the Devil's Son. Needs to be careful with taking that much curb. Swiss Rolls with a better exit, and that's the Ferrari in the background. I think that's Muzzy who's lost the car. Yes, he has. So he's into the wall. He's going to have to be careful once he rejoins. But back to this battle. Swiss Rolls not able to get the move done into Crocodiles. He's going to have a look up towards Cheetah. No, it's going to be single file through the penultimate corner. There we go, another retirement in the race. That is Muzzy retiring the car after a spin there. And it was Pepper Melon who retired the car. He had a double puncture, unfortunately. And Yan saying the curse has struck again. Yep. And look how close these two are. I think Swiss Rolls pretty much pushing him around the corner. We're now into turn, I believe it's turn 4, turn 5 now. It's turn 5. Barbecue that they just exited. Now down towards Sunset Corner. Once again, these two are neck and neck, but let's quickly switch to this battle. Misantos is now facing pressure from XA17 down in P7 and P8. So we'll keep an eye on those two. The gap between Claychap and Milo is still a second. When it stayed that for a bit. Claychap with a bit of damage on his car, so he must have lost it somewhere. The gap has come down, and you can see in the background that is Mfera, who is a couple laps down at the moment. But back to this battle between the two. There's so much going on towards the final few minutes of the race. And that seems to be the thing here. It seems to be a bit spaced out in the middle of the race. And then once we come towards the end, all things seem to heat up. And that's Swiss Rolls very late on the brakes there. Just trying to phase the Devil's Son. It looks like it's worked. But he hasn't been able to get the move off. So he's still going to sit in P10 at the moment, bouncing over the inside curb. But he's really putting a lot of pressure here onto the Devil's Son, running wide through the final corner. We saw him do that earlier on. He needs to be careful there. So easy to do so though in these conditions. I'm sure the McLaren's struggling with their tyres. Down towards turn 1 now. And it looks like different lines from the both drivers once again. Coming up towards Barbecue now. DeVilson really taking a lot of curb. But it seems to be okay. It's a high risk though for the DeVilson. And we've had a disconnection. I think Lager's disconnected once again. And leading the race, he's disconnected. Seems to be the only driver that's actually disconnected. And it's really unfortunate for him because last time out at Alton Park, not last week, the week before, he was leading the race and got disconnected. So he's not leading the race anymore. And that's the problem with sim racing. Connection fails you once. And that's it. We're coming up towards the penultimate corner now, and that's the DeVilson very wide there. The consistent pressure from the Swiss Rolls has paid off with the DeVilson rejoin their track. The Swiss Rolls don't think aggressive enough. He hasn't been able to get that move done, but DeVilson very wide through the final corner. And now Swiss Rolls is going to be side by side with him coming down towards turn 1. And he's going to have the inside here. He is ahead, and the DeVilson with a late move up the inside before the braking zone. And Swiss Rolls not defending the inside there. And the DeVilson back up into P8. Swiss Rolls, they're going to be side by side here for the next couple corners. Swiss Rolls is going to be on the inside for Barbecue. He's made contact there. He's hit the inside sausage curb and he's hit the wall. I don't think any fault from the DeVilson, but he's hit the sausage curb there and unsettled the car. And you can see the rear tyres just trying to get it spinning. Just trying to get the car going, sorry. And there we go, he's back on track. But who's behind him? Emferrer. He's not too far back. The gap's going to be not 21 seconds anymore. But a fortunate mistake there from Swiss Rolls. The gap between Claychamp and Milo has now increased. And I think he's actually... Is that Emferrer? Has he lost the position to Emferrer? He has! So Swiss Roll down into P10 then. And the Emferrer up a position. But back to now the new race leader, Bion, after Lager's disconnection. And this is the final lap surrounding the final corner then. Here we go, Bion, your race winner of Division 3. Crossing the line. And with an unexpected victory actually, but crossing the line in P1, Claychamp rounding off the final corner in P2. Managed to hold on to P2 from Milo, who just crossed the line in P3. Mad Max rounding off the final corner then in P4. Leg in P5, who's still got a bit of a lap to go. Well, he's got Miss Santos 10 seconds behind him, so he doesn't really have to worry at the moment. And there we go, Leg crossing the line in 5th. Miss Santos coming around the final corner in 6th. Managed to drive through the damage. Very good recovery drive there from Santos. XA17 in P7. Wasn't able to get the move on Santos. The DeVilson still got a bit to go. And he'll be finishing in P8. Whereas Tord is coming up towards the final corner now. and he'll be finishing in P11 at the moment. We'll get the full standings once the race is over. There we go, he finishes in P11, and the Devil's Son coming up towards, oh, big slide there through the penultimate corner, and oh, a bit of latency issues there for him. We're coming through the final corner now, and he's going to finish, oh, a big spin there. What's happened for him? What's happened there? He's got some, seems to be lagging quite a bit, does the Devil's Son, but he's going to cross the line now. There we go, and there are your full results of the race. Byron finishing in P1, Clay jumping to P2, and Milo in P3. Make sure to stay tuned because we'll be back for the race for Division 2 actually.
Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Birds jumping and I hear my name, grasping into life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah. Lions gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Kids across the land. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk.
You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets.
Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Birds chirping and I hear my name, grasping into a life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah. Lion's gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Kids across the land. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah.
You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig any deeper now? I gave you all I own, put you on this golden throne, but I'm a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now.
You always want what you can't have, and while you have it, you can. But still, my heart, the moment I laid eyes on it. Well, how do you know how you will feel when everything changes? This fear, where will I go? Where will you be? How will I know the one for me? Well, how do you know? How do you know? How do you know? You always want what you can't have, and while you have it, you can. But still, my heart, the moment I laid eyes on it. Well, how do you know how you will feel when everything changes? This fear, where will I go?
Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, here for Division 2. Just 5 minutes left of this qualifying session, and that is, oh, that's Cobb with a spin there, struggling to get the car back going. The track is damp, so wet tyres will be optimum here. And Taste and Tom currently taking provisional pole with a 147.034. Nino Tobin in P2, 1.5 tenths behind, but as we know, Nino Tobin has taken the championship already coming into this round. So having a look at the standings, He is on 346 points in P1, with Jason Tom and P2 on 222, so 124 point gap to Jason Tom and P2. You get 60 points for winning a race and 1 point for pole position, so it's impossible for Jason Tom to get past Nino here. And Nino, I'm sure, is going to be very happy with that, so congratulations for taking the championship in Division 2. And then Hoshi we've got in third in the championship on 210 points. The fight for second in the championship is still on. SVVKC as well in fourth in the championship on 206 points. So just 4 points there behind Hoshi in third, and 16 points behind Jason Tom in second. So it's very close between second, third and fourth in the championship. And currently Jason Tom still on pole position. That's Nino Tobin returning it to the pit. Seems like he's got some connection issues here. He's on orange connection. Usually see him a bit better than that. Jason Tom crossing the line there. No improvement for him. We've got the number 15 car of Hoshi. He's yet to set a lap time. Time is running out in this qualifying session actually. Track is damp still. And he rounds the final corner. Let's see what lap time is going to be as he crosses the line and puts it into P3, 1 second off of the provisional pole time set by Jason Tom. 87 TFJ crosses the line, puts it into P4, 1.2 seconds off. Then we've got the 97 car of SVVKC, puts into P2, 400ths behind Jason Tom. Very close at the top once again. And I'm sure we're going to see a few improvements towards the end of this qualifying session. We've got the number 2 car then of Grimjaw coming through Crocodiles now up towards Cheetah, and then towards the final corner. He's kept it within the track limits there. And rounding off the final corner now. Let's see what the lap time is going to be. SVVKC into the pits. I don't think he's going to improve, so that's his qualifying session over. And Grimjaw puts it on pole position with a 146.977, 500ths quicker than Jason Tom in P2. Look how close the top 4 are, all separated by 2/10. Extremely close. And Grimjaw putting it onto provisional pole, but let's see if anyone's going to be able to top that. Looks like the next car who's on a lap that's going to be crossing the line is the number 15 car of Hoshi. He's still got a bit to go. No, he's slowed down there. So he's not going to improve. Rocco and Cosmic Light into the pits. So that's their qualifying session over, I believe. Yeah, that will be their qualifying session over. And then we've got the number 87 car of 87? Yeah, that's it. TFJ coming through the final corner now. The only Nissan driver, and he's lost the car on the exit. And he's going to have to possibly return that to the pits, I think. Yep, I know that's SVVKC into the pits. And Nino Tobin, he's got one last chance to improve. He's currently sitting on P4. I think this is the only... we saw him at, I think it was Alton Park, maybe, where he wasn't on pole position. And he's run wide. That's his qualifying session over. He's into the wall there. So he'll be starting P4 unless Hoshi can improve, or anyone else can improve. But Grimjaw coming through Cheetah now. That's TTK, who hasn't set a lap time yet. I think he won't be setting a lap time for this session. There we go, runs wide through Cheetah. No, Grimjaw coming to the pits. Most data Tom still got a bit to go. Hoshi still got a bit to go as well. TTK is coming through the final corner now. It's not going to be a lap time for him. Where is DeedeeTKU? Crosses the line. There we go. He manages to put in a lap time. Puts it to P6. His qualifying session has been completed. Then TTK's qualifying session's over as well, but without a lap time. And the next car across the line will be Jason Tom. Let's see if he's able to take pole position here. All he needs is more than 500ths to take pole position. And there we go, crosses the line. No improvements there for Tyson Tom. And he's in P2, landing up on the front row with Grimjaw. Where's Hoshi, the last driver out on track? Coming up towards the final corner now. Is it going to be an improvement? Oh no, he's run wide there, and that's his qualifying session over. So there we go. Grimjaw taking pole position with Tyson Tom lining up on the front row with him. SVVKC in third and Nina Tobin in fourth on the second row. But make sure to stay tuned because we'll be back shortly for the race. Here we go then, onto the formation lap. As we saw in qualifying, is extremely close between the top four, all separated by 2/10. Grimjaw taking pole position, Tyson Tom in second, SVVKC in third and Nino Tobin in fourth. Let's get your predictions in for the top three for this race. Let's hope there's no commentator's curse this time around. But for Division 2, we've got damp track this time instead of greasy, and the rain seems to be getting heavier towards the end of this race. Might be even a bit sooner than that. So wet tyres definitely will be the way to go. We've got Guido in the comments saying good luck TFJ and Hoshi. Just as some support for those two. And I'd like to take this time to thank our patrons. 33 patrons I believe we have. So thanks to all of you guys who are helping us run this league and helping the costs. Helping the running costs. Servers do cost here. And they're not free, just like most things in this world. If you are interested in becoming a patron, make sure to check us out. There should be a link in the description for becoming a patron. You do get some extra benefits like choosing off-season events and choosing your car and car number before anyone else can. So make sure to check that out. But here we go, drivers lining up side by side now, approaching the final corner. I'm sure tensions are rising here. I'll be full of adrenaline at the moment, just waiting for those green flags. And we've got Jan once again with another prediction. Nino in first, Taysom Tom in second, and Grimjaw in third. Sick individuals in the comments saying, come on Casey, support for Casey then, and we are green. There we go, green flag. Grimjaw with a great start, Taysom Tom with not the best start, and SVV Casey's going to jump him coming down towards turn 1. I think he's already got the move done. Is he going to have a look on Grimjaw? He is, down towards turn 1. He's got the inside, and 2 moves down into turn 1. He's up into P1 now. Very good start from SVV Casey. Nino Tobin still, I believe, in P. No, he's in P3 now. So Taysom Tom with not the best start is going to get jumped by Dimmer just so there's a bit of contact between the two. Taysom Tom needs to be careful. We're coming through Sunset Corner now. That's Rocco and Hoshi behind them too as well. Taysom Tom with a bit of curb on the inside, bouncing once again, and Dimmer just not leaving enough room for him behind. Has there been contact? And Dimmer just as round there. Taysom Tom didn't look like he made any contact. As you can see, there's no damage on the front of his car. It was like Dimmer just lost it by himself. And Taysom Tom continues. Rocco is right behind him though, looking to get this move done. The Lexus is a very good car in the wet conditions. Coming down Mineshaft now. Well, there's another big slide from the Lamborghini driver. They seem to be really struggling here. Dimmer just, as we saw his spin earlier, is down into P12, last position now. And yeah, the Lamborghini driver is really struggling in these conditions. We saw that in Division 3 as well. Back to the race lead. KC leading the race now, an 8/10 gap to Grimjaw behind him in P2. With Nino Tobin following closely behind in P3. They're taking the same line down towards turn 1. Just want to keep within the slipstream, especially for Nino and the Porsche. Down towards P5, this battle. Looks like Rocco's dropped off slightly to Taysom Tom just up ahead. Hoshi's going to have a look up the inside. Nope. Just has a look, but he wasn't going to go for that move. Early on in this race, we've had some good battles. SVV KC, I think, with the best start out of anyone here. Jumped 2 people off the start without any contact. An amazing move from him. Looking down the order, McMark and TTK very close to each other as well. Grimjaw is now dropped to second off of KC. So KC is really putting in the laps in the opening stages of this race. And the Audi with some good BOP for Kyalami, as we saw him qualify in pole position, but he's lost the race lead now. Nino Tobin not too far back either. The gap says 4 tenths, might have increased slightly there. We'll see once they cross the next sector line. You can see in the background it's Tyson Tom. Also, really not the best start to this race. He was, I think he was P3, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken here. Let's check where he was actually. If in the comments saying let's go Div 2. Yeah, no, Tyson Tom was actually P2. He qualified on the front row and he's now down to P4. So really not the best start from him, losing 2 positions. And you can see SVU Casey opening the gap to 1.5 seconds now. Rocco has dropped Hoshi. Hoshi with a mistake because he's now behind TFJ, and he's got Cobb very close behind as well. TFJ defending the inside, coming towards turn 1, and he's going to hold that position, but Cobb having a look up the inside on Hoshi, hasn't been able to get that one done. But he's really putting on the pressure and bouncing over the inside curb down. He's got some airtime. He's managed to save that somehow. But the sausage curb on the inside, converting that Lamborghini, converting that car into a plane. But he's somehow managed to keep it together. And Cosmic Mike now looking down towards the battle for P9. He's closing up to the back of TTK. And there we go, heavier rain in about 10 minutes or so. So that has, the forecast has changed. Track temp similar to what it was in Division 3. But Cosmic Mike looking good here. DeedeeTKU catching up to these two slowly. Armobic very close behind as well to DeedeeTKU. But yeah, Lamborghinis, we've got 2 Lamborghinis, P11, P12. The next Lamborghini up is Cobb in P8. He's doing a good job at the moment, but he seems to be struggling once again as we saw his car get some airtime. But he has actually caught up to the back of Hoshi and TFJ once again, after they have been battling quite hard. So we'll keep an eye on this battle, but KC dominating this race at the moment in the number 97 Bentley. The Bentleys do love these wet conditions. We saw in Division 3, Lager leading the race before his disconnection, unfortunately. But he was also in a Bentley, and now KC leading the race in a Bentley in Division 2 as well. But the battle is on for P2 here. Grimjaw in P2, Nino Tobin in P3, and Tyson Tom in P4. All line of stone here, very close to each other, but not within attacking distance at the moment. And this brings us back to the battle for P7. Cobb is even closer now to Hoshi. It says 9/10. It looks to be less than that. No, it might actually be 9/10 still between the two. Coming down towards Sunset Corner. Yep, still 9/10 between those two. And Hoshi just managing the gap at the moment, but he's lost time to the Nissan driver of TFJ just up ahead. The Nissan doing surprisingly well here at Kyalami in the wet conditions. But we saw TFJ struggling qualifying there. Through the last corner we saw, I think he lost the back end of that Nissan. He needs to be careful here because Nissan not one of the most planted cars on the grid at the moment. But he's doing a good job at holding his own. And Hoshi with a different line down Mineshaft and coming up towards Crocodile Corner now. Cobb is within 7/10 to Hoshi. He's really reeled him in the opening stages of this race. Coming up towards Cheetah now. Let's see. Let's hope they don't hit the sausage curb on the inside. And a bit of a slide there from Hoshi. But he's kept it together and he's really struggling in these conditions. Cobb is closing the gap every corner. Let's see if he can get this move done. But the gap has opened up slightly coming through the final corner. We saw Cobb with a slight slide. He didn't use any of the exit curb. So maybe he had to correct the car somewhere. And Hoshi holds on for another corner, back down to this battle for P10. Cosmic Mike has made... no, he hasn't made a mistake, he's just lost a lot of time to TTK in front. They were separated by a second, he clutches the sausage curb, then that's allowed DeedeeTKU down the inside. And DeedeeTKU has got the move done, so good job there by DeedeeTKU, just capitalising on Cosmic Mike's mistake. And we come into Sunset Corner now, with Mike not able to go for an immediate reply, and he's run wide there through Sunset Corner. So easy to do, and he's braking on the grass, but he's managed to get the car stopped in time. And there we go, DeedeeTKU with a slight wiggle on the exit there. We've seen a few cars lose it there in Division 3 as well. Not the easiest of corners, but Cobb now dropped a second back to Hoshi in P7. So Hoshi doing a good job. Actually, Rocco has made a mistake. Likewise has Cobb, because Hoshi has got a huge advantage now. 5 seconds, there we go, to Cobb. So Cobb and Rocco both making mistakes, and Rocco's going to have to make his way back through the order. All his hard work has been undone here. He doesn't seem to have any damage on his car, so he's lucky in that sense. But he's definitely lost a number of positions here. And that corner, Cheetah, one of the most difficult corners here at Kyalami. So if you run slightly wide, especially in the wet here, you've pretty much lost the car, and you could find yourself into the wall the next time you blink. Coming down the start-finish straight then for the 5th time. Down in towards turn 1, Cobb's holding his own at the moment. Gap at the top, 2.7 seconds, hasn't really increased too much. It's still around about 2 to 3 seconds. Nino Tobin has dropped back from Grimjaw and P2, and Tasty Tom likewise has dropped back from Nino Tobin and P3. So they're all pretty much spaced out, but you never know. 20 minutes left of the race, anything can happen here. And Jan saying in the comments, ACC Flight Simulator, what a jump from Ethan. Yeah, it's quite a jump there from Cobb we saw earlier, but surprisingly his car's in what I would call pristine condition. There doesn't seem to be any damage on that Lamborghini number 7 of his. But Rocco, after his mistake, hasn't really been able to close the gap to Cobb just up. Oh, I say that, and I spoke way too soon there. Cobb, I thought he didn't come out of the corner. I was wondering where he went, but he's into the wall and really struggling in these conditions, but he's got it going once again. And yep, the car no longer in pristine condition. I have to curse it somehow. Yep, I might just shut my mouth now, but he's continued going, and he's down into P11 now, and he comes out behind Cosmic Mike. And they're coming through the crocodiles now, and that's Rocco facing the wrong way. He spun the car somewhere, but good on him for holding the brakes and rejoining, or getting the car turned around safely. But he's down into P11 now. So he had a good start, but it's just got worse and worse for him. He's made a mistake in, I think, possibly around minute 25 we saw him, or 24 we saw him down towards the order, down in the pack, and then he's made another mistake now. But he's currently in no man's land, 7 seconds back to Cobb. I think it may be a lonely rest of his race. But back to the battle for P3. Taste and Tom is closing the gap to Nino. Gap now 1.6 seconds. So the Porsche on Nino not favouring his wet conditions, but he has won the championship. He's taking it possibly a bit easier tonight. But back to the battle for P9 actually. I've just realised the delta between those two. Cosmic Mike is having to defend from Cobb now, coming up towards the S's. Cosmic Mike doing a good job at holding on. Cobb is glued to his rear bumper now. You can barely even see the Lamborghini as he pulls out towards the outside. No, there's not enough space. And he brakes early there to avoid contact with Cosmic Mike. But coming down towards the mineshaft, Cosmic Mike is under some heavy pressure here up towards Crocodiles now. And the gap at the top is coming down as well. Cosmic Mike is going to leave the inside open. Cobb with a late move down the inside, or later on the brakes, sorry, down the inside, and a good move there by Cobb. Let's get a quick replay of that. Later on the brakes, much more confident he was, and he just got the move done. But Cosmic Mike with a look up the inside towards the final corner. No, he wasn't able to get that done, but he's putting on the pressure now back to Cobb. So the roles have reversed. But Cobb, I think, has already opened up a bit of a gap to Cosmic Mike now. Yep, 7/10 between the two. So, oh, we've got another battle going on. TFJ has made a mistake somewhere. Hoshi up into P5 now, coming through Sunset. The Delta's just changed like that. They only update every sector, so it's quite hard to keep track of what's going on. TTK into the pits now. So he's possibly got some damage on that Mercedes of his. Repaired it now, I assume. But back to this battle, TFJ, after his mistake, is looking to get this move done. And that is Hoshi wide there, late on the brakes. He's gone deep into the corner and lost the position to TFJ. So TFJ says thank you to that one. That was an easy move for me. And he's back up into P5 then. But the gap between Nino and Tyson Tom is really coming down. It's less than a second exiting the final corner as they cross the start-finish line for the 8th time there. There we go, 6/10 separating those two. And Tyson Tom's going to have a nice toe coming down the start-finish straight down towards turn 1. And he's much later in the brakes into turn 1 than Nino is. Much more confident. You can see he's really closed the gap there. That is definitely one of the strongest corners here for Tyson Tom at the moment. We'll see where he gains elsewhere on the circuit. And coming up towards Sunset Corner, I think this is where the Porsche may excel slightly. See, yes, he's already opened up a bit of a gap, a bit of a slide there for Nino though. And no, he's lost that gap that he had. Tyson Tom is right back onto him once again. Coming up towards the S's now. Rocco into the pits. Maybe on the wrong tyres here. I'm not sure why he's pitting. Doesn't seem to have any damage. I think he actually may be on the wrong tyres, or it's something to do with fuel. But Jan in the comments supporting Mike. And make sure, if you haven't already, like the stream and subscribe. If you are new, helps us out massively here. And now coming up towards Crocodile Corner, Tyson Tom has got a bit of a slide. No, it looked like he had a slide there. But he seems to be okay. Blue flags are being waved. Who would that be for? That is for the number 14 car of TTK just out in front. And the number 97 car as well. That would be 97 car? Yes, there is a 97 car. That is... I think I'm blind. No, it's KC. He shouldn't have blue flags. I'm not sure why there were blue flags for him. He's currently leading the race. But he's actually lost a huge amount of time to Grimjaw. The gap is a second between those two. So we'll quickly switch to them. And it actually looks to be less than a second. Now you can see in the background that is Grimjaw on the back of Casey. So Casey's lead has... his gap, sorry, has shrunk now. Just with one mistake. And he's now, oh, a bit of a slide there on the exit. Got the back end out of that mighty Bentley. But he's been able to hold on. Now coming through the S's once more. But Grimjaw also seems to be struggling now. And back to this battle. Nino still doing an amazing job at holding off Tyson Tom. But I think it's just a matter of time. Tyson Tom is quicker in the second half of this race. White flag being waved there. Slow car. I'm not sure who the slow car is. There's a back marker coming through the final corner, but they're a long way ahead. So nothing that these leaders have to worry about. But you can see on the map there, the track map, that Nino, Tobin and Taysom Tom aren't too far off of Grimjaw and SVVKC just up ahead, and Taysom Tom's going to have a look up the inside, coming towards Crocodile. No, has to back out of that one. And we've had a retirement there. That is Rocco retiring the car. Saw him put it into the pits, and unfortunately he has retired the car. Now down towards turn 1, the gap at the top has increased slightly. It seems just that SVVKC made a slight mistake, but he's now found his groove once again, and he's pulling away from Grimjaw on P2. So I think Nino Tobin and Taysom Tom may not be able to catch them up, but one mistake from SVVKC and Grimjaw could find themselves behind Tobin and Taysom Tom. And we just got confirmation that Rocco had wrong tyre pressures and hit the wall. Unfortunately disconnected as well, so everything being thrown at him there in this Division 2 race. But Cosmic, Mike and Dimmer just seem to be within a second of each other. TTK back into the pits once more. Has he got any damage on that car? No, he doesn't. He does a bit, not too much though. Wouldn't say that's worth pitting, but it may be something to do with fuel or tyres. Just 10 minutes left of the race now. Taysom Tom still not able to get past Nino here. Kyalami not the easiest of tracks to overtake on. The only really overtaking place is turn 1. It's the widest part of the circuit to start finish straight. As we go onto it now, Taysom Tom too far back at the moment. Gap says 7/10. Let's see what it is when they cross the line. Should be less than that. Nope, I lied. It's 9/10. So it's even more than that. Definitely not close enough to make a move. Now down in towards turn 1. The gap at the top still relatively the same the last time we had a look at it. 1.4 seconds. So SVVKC not really pulling away as much as we thought he would. And the gap between Grimjaw and Nino, is that coming down? No, it's increased actually to 6.5 seconds. So yeah, definitely don't think they'll be catching them up in terms of pace. Now down towards the battle for P5. We find Hoshi closing back up to TFJ once again after Hoshi's mistake before Mineshaft, and that CTK with a stop and go penalty. He's pitted twice and now he's got a stop go 30. He's going to have to pit once more during this race, and that's a disaster there for TTK. He's really not enjoying these conditions at all, but lucky for the drivers, we're coming into summertime and we should see some more dry weather for next season. And the gap between TFJ and Hoshi has increased, so TFJ responding to the pace of Hoshi. He's picked it up a notch as he's seen that delta dropping. The gap between, oh, a big slide there from TFJ. I spoke way too soon, and he's going to lose that buffer he had to Hoshi. It's going to come down to within a second possibly now, coming down the start finish straight. Let's see what it is when they cross the line. 1.2 seconds, so not too bad. TFJ is still okay for now, but he needs to be careful because another mistake like that could be very costly here. With just 7 minutes left to go, there's not a huge time to recover from any mistakes that are made. 16 likes on the stream. Make sure, once again, if you haven't liked the stream, to do so. Let's see if we can get it to 20 or 25. before the end of Division 1, which is up next. TTK then still yet to serve. Oh, and I predicted it. Commentators Cars once again. TFJ with a huge mistake there out of the exit of the corner. Luckily he's not into the wall, but he's lost the position now to Hoshi. And Hoshi up into P5, TFJ down to P6. Oh, I think I better stop predicting stuff because that's what happens. But TFJ definitely has the pace to keep up and possibly get that position back. But it's just a moment of waiting and seeing now. So we've only got 6.5 minutes left to go. Not much time at all. The gap at the top still 1.4 seconds. So KC managing that gap, and Grimjaw really sticking with him, and TFJ wide there through the penultimate corner once again. Andre's tyres not going to be happy with that. Let's go to the top two. You can see there SVV, KC and Grimjaw coming through Sunset Corner now. KC with a brilliant race so far. He's run wide. Why do I speak so soon? And actually Grimjaw followed him off slightly, not as much, but SVVKC may be starting to worry now. The gap is, I think, less than 1.4 seconds. Well, he's coming to the braking zone for this long left-hander, or this double left-hander, before we go back down into Mineshaft now. And let's see what the gap is. It's down to 1.2 seconds, so there we go. It has decreased. And that is the Lamborghini of, I believe, Armobic moving out the way for the lead cars. Yes, it is. A good job there from Armobic. We're coming up towards the final corner now, and Casey needs to be careful, because a slight mistake like that could definitely drop down the gap between himself and Grimjaw. We cross the line now. Onto the 14th lap. It's back to 1.5 seconds. And that curb-in, possibly due to the back marker, but Armobic did a good job of moving out the way there. And Grimjaw slightly deep into turn 1. I think Casey's going to extend the gap even more coming into barbecue now. And if you're wondering why I'm mentioning animal names and things like barbecue, it's the corner names actually. It's some very funky corner names here at Kyalami. Yeah, there we go, it's up to 1.8 seconds now. But yeah, I'm not too fond of the history of Kyalami. I'm not sure why they've named it, why they've named the corners like that, but I'm sure there's a reason. And if anyone in the comments knows, be sure to enlighten me. As we come through the S's now, up towards the hill once again. Looks like these two are the closest on track. TFJ has dropped 2.7 seconds to Hoshi, so he hasn't been able to keep up. He's been making a few mistakes towards the end of this race. 21 people watching. Like I said earlier, if you haven't liked the stream or subscribed, make sure to do so. Just seems like Grimjaw isn't really able to close that gap to SVVKC. I'm not sure if it's increased any more. Nope, still 1.8 seconds as we cross the line onto the 15th lap. And TTK has been disqualified. That would be for not serving his stop-go 30. He had... Yeah, that's unfortunate. But he should still be able to score points here for 11th. As long as you complete 75% of the race, you get points. But here we go then. Casey still leading the race with no trouble at all, but he definitely can't rule out Grimjaw. Just 2 minutes left to go. I think we'll have one more lap. Yep, one more lap after this. But these top two, Casey and Grimjaw, have opened up a gap of 12 seconds to Tayson Tom in P3. And Nino as well in P4, 8 seconds behind Tayson Tom, so that's another 20 seconds to Grimjaw in P2. It looks like Jan's prediction hasn't come correct.
Okay,
He did
the
predict
leaders on
Nino
the final
P1,
lap, give it all you can.
Tayson Tom in second, and Grimjaw in third. AceVV KC with the amazing double overtake on lap 1, turn 1. And he did that cleanly, very cleanly, clinical move from him. The gap at the top has come down slightly by 2 or 3 tenths. Don't think SVV Casey is going to be worrying about that. And we are on the final lap now. It has gone up once again to SVV Casey. Just needs to bring it home here. Doesn't really need to push the car anymore. He's got enough of a buffer to Grimjaw behind. He definitely doesn't want to make a mistake through that penultimate corner cheetah with that huge Schuster's curve on the inside. Team Adjuster and Cobb very close as well. That might come down to the wire. We shall see. Timer has hit 0. So we're just waiting for SVV Casey now to cross the line. So we're coming through Crocodiles now and then up towards Cheetah, using all of the exit curb available. Let's see here. Keeps it together, not pushing the car through there, and he's coming through the final corner now. SVV KC with a dominant lead and a dominant victory here tonight at Kyalami. And he crosses the line in P1. Flash of the lights from him as well. Grimjaw in P2, starting on pole position, but just losing out to SVV Casey. Tayson Tom, who managed to get past Nino, is going to finish in P3 then. So Nino with a mistake somewhere, and he's going to finish in P3. Nino is Tayson Tom in P3. Nino is, I think it was 20 odd seconds back. Not sure if that was correct, but rounding off the final corner now, Nino in P4. He's already won the championship though, so don't think he's going to be worried about that. Finishes in P4. Flash of the lights there from him. Hoshi in P5. TFJ coming through Cheetah now and up towards the final corner. He's going to finish in P6. And look at the delta between Cobb and Team Adjuster. It's going to come down to the last few corners. We'll switch over to them very shortly. TFJ with Flash of the Lights in P6. Then Cobb is defending from Dim Adjuster now. It's definitely going to come up towards the last corner, but Cobb's kept it together. Dim Adjuster, is it close enough to go for a lunge? Flash of the Lights there from Dim Adjuster. I think he knows that he's not going to be able to get this move done. He's super close coming through the final corner, but Cobb's going to hold on there in P7, and Dim Adjuster in P8. Following him very close behind. Cosmic Mike rounding off the final corner in P9. Armobic in P10. And TTK in P11, who has been disqualified for not serving his stop go 30. There we go. There are your race results then. SVV Casey winning the race here at round 7. Grimjaw in P2 and Tayson Tom in P3. We'll be back in about 15 minutes for Division 1, so make sure to stay tuned. And like the stream and subscribe if you haven't done so already.
just come. We must never stop the way. Birds chirping and I hear my name, grasping into life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a strive. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah. Lion's gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Kids across the land. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Yeah. Birds jumping and I hear my name, grasping into a life. Life is happy but it's so.
welcome back viewers. We're here for Division 1, the final race of the evening, and once again rainy Kyalami here for this qualifying session. Just 11 minutes left to go. No one has set a lap time just yet, but 14 cars lining up on the grid tonight, and it's not going to be an easy one. We've seen the Division 2 and Division 3 drivers out on track, and they were extremely close in qualifying, so let's see how the Division 1 drivers do here. The conditions definitely aren't easy. Mixed conditions always seem to catch people off guard, and especially greasy and damp tracks aren't the easiest. You're struggling for grip, you're indecisive on which tyres you want to use. But we've got some times coming in now. Fresh Kingy puts it up on provisional pole, 1:46.3, and he might actually return it to the pits now. Pinochle into P2 on just 6/10 behind. He's got some traffic up ahead of him. I think that is Viper, but Viper's also on a quick lap there, so he won't have to move up the way. That's Ethan behind as well, who isn't on the lap, so he's okay to sit there. But SVW, oh there we go, we got some more times coming in. Seuss puts it on provisional pole on a 1:45.750, and the Audis are definitely going to be ones to watch out for. The only Audi on track is Seuss at the moment. SVW and the Mercedes puts it into P2, just a 10th behind. Bubbles in P4, 7/10 behind at the moment. Howard puts it onto pole position then, 1:45.636, a 10th quicker than Seuss, and 2 tenths quicker than SVW. Slow Wolf down in P6, or a second off the pace, but he's got room for improvement there, and it's only his first lap, I believe. So just a second isn't bad off at all. Pinocchio's been dropped down to P7, but he's got traffic in front of him, and like I said earlier, Viper on a hot lap too, so he doesn't have to move out the way. Pinocchio's best bet is to give himself some room, let these guys past, and give himself some room to actually set a lap time without any traffic. But looks like he's just going to go down the inside there and take track position. He wants to be ahead to try and get this lap in. And Viper has got it's probably Viper's lap ruined there, but look at how close it is at the top. Bubbles puts it onto pole position on 1:45.348 with Melvin in P2, just 100th behind Bubbles there. And SVW back up into P3. He's going to return it to the pits, 2 tenths off. Howardo also 2 tenths off. Seuss in P5, 4 tenths off at the moment, and Kingy in P6, 9 tenths off. So the top 6 all within a second of each other at the moment. Still got some times to come in. Kenny, Ithan, Oli Arasar. Oh, looks like Pinocchio's made a mistake there. Oli Arasar and Deedee still yet to set a time. And we've got the 67 car of Kenny, who's going to be the next driver to cross the line here. So let's see what time he puts in. A bit of a wiggle there on the exit of Cheetah. And he spun it through the final corner there. Too much power. And he's going to have to possibly return that to the pits. I'm not sure if he's going to continue on his lap. But we've got now the 97 car, who is Ithan, about to come up to the final corner here. Keeps it together, uses a lot of the inside curb, but doesn't seem to be the fastest of exits as he comes across the line now and puts it into P11, 2.6 seconds off. We've got loads of cars coming through the final corner now. Melvin crosses the line. What time is it going to be for him? No improvement there for Melvin, the 36 car of Deedee. There we go, puts it up into P6, 4 tenths off. The Porsche seem to be very good. Oh no, Bubbles improves and does a 1:44.6, so 7 tenths quicker than Melvin, and he's separated now. Now he's only made the top 3 within a second of each other, but still very close between P3, P4, P5, P6 and P7. They're still all within a few tenths of each other. And who just crossed the line? And that's a 43 car of Slow Wolf there, puts it into P7. 1.5 seconds off now of the provisional pole time set by Melvin. We've got the number 99 car of Howardo about to cross the line. Is it going to be an improvement for him? Currently second off. No improvement for Howardo. The next car about to cross the line is the number 19 car of Kingy. And he is on a lap, I believe. Comes up towards the final corner now. Is it going to be an improvement for him? Looks like a good exit. And he's about to cross the line, currently 1.6 seconds off. And there we go, puts it to P7, 1.2 seconds off then. And he's still got a way to go. 5 minutes left of this qualifying session, so plenty of time to improve. We've got the 97 car crossing the line of Ithan. There we go, Ithan puts it into P6, 1.1 seconds off, so a very good time there from Ithan. And the 997 car of Bubbles, Melvin crosses the line 2 tenths off. It looks like he's going to return it into the pits. We've got the 46 car, where's the 46 car? Bubbles crossing the line once more. He did improve ever so slightly there, went to the 144 fours. So an improvement for Bubbles puts Melvin 3.5 tenths behind then. And a slide there from Bubbles coming to turn 1. I don't think he's going to be able to improve. Lely into P2. 2 tenths off of Bubbles' pole time there. Seuss into P4, 9 tenths off. And we've got another car crossing the line. That is the number 43 car of Slow Wolf crossing the line in P10. And the top 10 separated by 1.4 seconds. Not much in it. And the conditions could be very different for the race. So it could mix things up here. And we've got the top 4 in the championship extremely close. We'll take a quick look at the standings here for Division 1. So Melvin, who's currently P3 in the qualifying session, is leading the championship with 276 points. Followed by Viper 2010, who's down in P12 in this qualifying session. So he's second in the championship on 266 points. So just 10 points behind Melvin, the championship leader. Now we've got Kingy in third in the championship on 258 points, just 18 points behind the championship leader. And Lely in P4 in the championship, 256 points, just 20 points behind the championship leader. So extremely close, and the battle for the championship is still on. It's going to come down to the last 2 rounds here, round 7 Kyalami and round 8 Spa. But at the moment it's a 2 Lexus drivers, or Lexi, if you'd like to say, currently locking P1 and P2 in the championship with Kingy P3 in the Bentley. We've got some comments coming in already. That is Jan Barth supporting Kenny and Deedee, Mr. CJ supporting Kenny, sorry, in the comments. Make sure if you are watching, you haven't liked the stream, make sure to do so and subscribe if you're new. Lely improves his time 1.8 tenths of that pole position time set by Bubbles. Very close then. Doesn't look like Melvin is on a lap. He must have been validated. Car behind him is the 97 car of Ithan. I think he's invalidated as well. And likewise, Pinocchio in the number 15 car has invalidated. He jumps over the sausage curb there. And that's not going to be good for his lap. I don't think he's picked up any damage though. And Bubbles into the pits then. Wants to save those tyres. The next car across the line who's on a valid lap is the number 10 car, Viper, who's 2 seconds behind at the moment. Coming through Cheetah now up towards the final corner. Let's see if this is an improvement, where it can place him on the grid. Rounds the final corner there, bit of a slide, and he crosses the line to put it into P10, so not a huge improvement. And he's possibly going to have to rely on the race. This is going to be his last lap here. Last lap to improve. We've already got a few drivers into the pits. Seuss in P5 into the pits and SVW in P6 into the pits. So that's their qualifying session over, and Ollie RSR puts it into P2. 600ths of Bubbles on pole position. Extremely close, and Lely, there we go, improves. Puts it on pole at 144.235, and he's going to return the car to the pits then. And Oli Arsar with a big slide through turn 1. That's his qualifying session pretty much over. And that's Bubbles with some damage, I think, on his car. Nope, no damage on the car, just the sponsors. Then the car bouncing on the exit of Sunset Corner. But this is his last chance to improve. And we've got the 997 car of Melvin now is the next one to cross the start-finish line. So let's see if it's an improvement for him. Currently pretty much 6/10 off. Rounds the final corner now. Slight wiggle from him, very slight. But he crosses the line, and where does it put him? No improvement for Melvin. He's got one more chance to do so. So Ithan crosses the line, still in P11. And then the number 15 car of Pinocchio, there we go, puts it up into P11. Now displacing Ithan, puts him down into P12. And the top 13 all within 1.6 seconds. Kenny with not the best qualifying session at all, 4.5 seconds back. But he's on a lap at the moment, I believe. Let's just double check. Yes, he is. And let's see if he can improve. But currently we've got the 36 car of... That's a 36 car, that's DD. He's 8/10 off currently. Let's see if he can improve. Exits the final corner. He's got his left indicator on. And doesn't really gain you any speed. But there we go, across the line. He does improve, but it's not enough to get P4 off of Melvin. Let's go back down to Kenny. He's the next one to cross the line. A big slide there through the final corner. And he crosses the line now with any improvement. No, he does improve, but it's going to be P14 there for Kenny. And he's got some damage on... that was the damage. Damage to Ferrari. It was Kenny. And Kingy crosses the line. There we go, puts it to P6. That's his qualifying session over. 8/10 off. And the next car will be Melvin. So the only two cars out on track are Melvin and Ithan then. And Melvin, his last chance to improve. Let's see if it's going to be an improvement for him. Currently sitting 6/10 off. Comes through Cheetah now. Oh, it's going to be invalid there for Melvin. And he's going to return it to the pits. So it's P4 for him. Let's see what Ithan can do. Coming up towards the final corner. Is it going to be an improvement for him? Look how close this qualifying session is. He rounds off the final corner and crosses the line now. Is it any improvement? There we go, puts him to P7, just a second off. So good lap there from Ithan. But in this qualifying session, Lely taking pole position, Bubbles in second, Oli Arsar in third on the second row, and Melvin in fourth on the second row likewise. But we'll be back for the race, so make sure to stay tuned. This is going to be a good one. Here we go then, onto the formation lap here for Division 1, getting ready for an hour race, and the conditions are not looking good for some of these drivers, but some others will prefer it. The track is fully wet here, and yeah, mixed conditions not the best for a lot of these drivers, and fully wet may be what they prefer. But as we saw in qualifying, Lely taking pole position, Bubbles in second, Melvin in third, and Ole Arsar in fourth. But Viper, who's in contention for the championship, all the way down in P13, just wasn't able to get in a proper lap. Kingy down in P6 as well, not too bad compared to Viper. But it's definitely going to be a good race here. If you're not familiar with the format for Division 1, it is an hour race, as you can see in the top right hand corner. And there is a mandatory stop, pit window of 20 minutes, so pit window will open at minute 40, so 20 minutes into the race, and it will close at minute 20, so with 20 minutes left of the race. And the pit stop requirements are the drivers have to refuel. Refueling time is fixed, so that means no matter how many litres they put in, it will be a 25-second pit stop. And then they have the option to change tyres. That can add, if they want to change tyres, that can add an extra 5 seconds to their pit stop. So we may be seeing some undercuts, some overcuts here in this hour-long race here at Kyalami for Division 1. This could definitely play in the strategy. Like, will the drivers stick to their used set of wets, or will they go on a new set? Kyalami, once again, not the easiest track to overtake on. Very narrow apart from that start-finish straight. Here we go, lining up side by side now. We've got a Bentley on pole position, lining up with the Ferrari of Bubbles, and then a Lexus and a Bentley on the second row as well. But let's see your predictions in the chat for your top three, and I hope not to put the commentator's curse here on anyone tonight. Coming down the start-finish straight now, we are green, and looks like Lely and Bubbles off to a very good start. The Ferrari excelling in the lower gears, much better acceleration, but Lely's going to hold the inside coming out to turn one. Look how close Ole Arsar is, braking earlier there just to avoid contact, and that is Slow Wolf very late on the brakes. He needs to be careful, and he's somehow not hit anyone there, so good job for him getting it stopped in time. It looks like we are through cleanly then, and Lely still leads the race here, coming up towards Sunset Corner now. Bubbles has lost P2, that's Ole Arsar and P2 then, and Ole Arsar going defensive coming up towards the Sunset Corner. Bubbles with a slight dummy up the inside, and he's looking to get this position back as soon as possible, but big slide there from Bubbles, and he saved the car just about. Melvin running in P4, then the top four have already opened up a slight gap to the rest behind, but Kingy is up into P5 now after starting P6, and he's catching back up to this top four. Seuss in P6, Deedee in P7, and we'll wait for the cameraman, there we go, and he's battling with Howdo. Howdo upper position up into P7, and Deedee's lost that position then. He's going to have to defend from Ithan behind as well, but Deedee with a very good qualifying here at Kyalami. He's lost the position early on, but it doesn't matter. It's only the opening lap. You'd rather lose a position than wreck your race. And it's a long race here at Kyalami, so anything can happen. And that is Ithan, I think, making a move. No, SVW making a move, or tried to make a move on Ithan. He's made a mistake, actually, and Pinocchio's going to be side by side with him. No, Pinocchio backed out of that one, coming up towards Cheetah. And SVW really struggling. He qualified further up the grid, but he's now down into P10. Back to the race lead we go. Oh, there's been some contact there between Bubbles and Ole Arsar. Ole Arsar having to hold the brakes there. He bounced off the wall, the pit wall, and luckily no one's made contact with him. But Bubbles coming to contact with Ole Arsar. We're not sure what happened there on the start. But he's dropped down the order now. He's fighting for, I think, P8 with Ithan. That is Ithan, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. And there we go. You can see his name now dropping down the order. But Oli Arsar, I'm not sure what's happened. He's got some damage on the front of his car now as well. So he could have possibly made contact with someone. But we'll leave that one to the stewards if anything did happen. It could have just been a racing incident. But here we go. Back to the battle for the lead. Lely leading. Melvin into P2. Kingy in P3. Seuss in P4. And Howdo in P5. So a 5-car battle still for the lead. And that's Ithan behind as well in P6. Catching back up to these to this pack. Bubbles with a huge mistake. Obviously not returning the position to Oli ourselves. So not exactly sure what happened there. But we've got predictions in the comments. Jan saying Lely for P1, Melvin for P2, and Oli ourselves for P3. Well, that hasn't gone correctly. 2 of your predictions have come right so far. But still, only 4 minutes into the race, we've got plenty of time to go. And it looks like Lely's still leading the race, but Melvin having a look up the inside towards the final corner. He had a look there, but it was a bit of a late move. And Lely defends the inside. Well, didn't really have to defend, but Melvin backed out of that one. And thought he was going to make contact there. But he's going to have a look up the inside, come towards turn 1, the outside, sorry. And Melvin having to settle back with 3 wide in the background. That's Howdo up the inside of Seuss. Seuss leaving the room for him, and Howdo up into P4. Good move there by him. And he's going to look to catch up back to this pack up ahead. Seuss looked much later on the brakes, bouncing over the inside curb of Barbecue. And they're going to be right on the back of this pack once again. Back to the race lead, then Lely doing a good job at defending from the pack behind. He's got so many cars. Ithan and Bubbles are now catching up as well. So we could see, oh, there's contact. That was Melvin's mistake there. Melvin's fault. He's made contact with with Lely, sorry, and he's going to have to return that position. Just late on the brakes there, way too aggressive. And yep, he has returned that position. Contact once again. Not sure what's going on here. That was Lely off the track. He's returned it to the pits for some reason, but he's lost the race lead then. And Melvin and Bubble seem to have come together slightly. Not sure why Lely's returned to the pits there. Oh, he has retired the car. And that's really unfortunate. I'm just not going to be happy with that at all. Melvin just way too aggressive. And yeah, it's not exactly what we want to see on the opening laps. But now that is Ithan leading the race. This has really changed things up. Ithan leading the race in P1, followed by Melvin in P2 and Bubbles in P3. But I'm sure we're going to have to leave that one to the stewards, because that was a bit silly from Melvin, if I'm honest. And those things really shouldn't be happening so early on in an hour race. They're coming down towards turn 1 now. Ithan's still leading the race. Lely, oh, he has joined back, so maybe a disconnection from Lely actually. He's joined back. No, it wasn't a disconnection, wasn't happy with that. But Ithan leading the race. Let's look further down the field. Then SVW and P10 with Deedy and P9. Oh, that's Deedy round. Got a bit loose on the exit, and he's lost the car there. So he's going to drop a few positions, but he's got it going once again. And it's pretty much at the back of the field. That just shows how close the field is here. Ithan dropping down the order. That promotes Kingy up into P1. Looks like Melvin and Bubbles. No, these 3 have all lost some positions then. So Ithan down in P3, Melvin in P4, and Bubbles in P5. Kingy and Howdo now leading the race. So Kingy up into P1. And this is exactly what he'd want for the championship here. But Lely's going to have to wait 2 minutes in the pits for him to come back out here on track. Howdo following close behind, but not close enough to make a move. Ithan still defending off P3 here from Melvin and Bubbles. But just way too aggressive on the opening few laps here. Zeus in P6 then, catching up to the back of this pack. Slowwolf in P7 after a slight mistake into turn 1. Luckily didn't actually hit anyone, but he's now making his way back up. Kenny into P8 after starting at the back of the grid, and SVW following closely behind as well. Not the best start from SVW. Doesn't have any damage on his car. I may be mistaken actually. I think there is a slight bit of damage on the driver's side, but not much. Not enough to slow him down really. Now back to the race lead. Looks like Kingy's opened up a slight gap to Howdo. Howdo wide there on the exit, and he's bouncing over the grass. And the gap's going to increase between these two. And now the gap at the top has increased. And looks like Mr. CJ and Jan saying that's unfortunate for Deedee. Yep, he did spin. And Lely's still in the pits. Let's hope he can come back out and score some points at least. But Seuss down in P5 looking to make a move here, and Bubbles coming down towards turn 1. He's later on the brakes and he's got the inside, I think. No, Bubbles held it round the outside there, coming down towards turn 1. Sue's going to have to settle for P5 here, but looking back down the grid, we've got Slowwolf running in P6, Kenny and SVW extremely close. The SVW has caught him up, and on the exit of Barbecue, it looks like he's got a much better exit coming down towards Sunset Corner. And he's looking up the inside, had a look there, but he's backed out of that one. You need to be patient in these races. They're so long, and you just can't be making silly moves on the opening few laps. But here we go, up towards the S's now. Kenny's going to have to do some defending here. He's got Slowwolf not too far ahead of him. So if these two can work together, they should be able to catch up the pack just up in front. But look how close once again Seuss is to Bubbles. And coming through the penultimate corner there, Seuss seems to have some damage on the front of that Audi. It's not as much as Miss Santos as we saw in Division 3. His BMW Mercedes was completely wrecked. And now coming down the start-finish straight, Seuss 4/10ths back. I don't think he's close enough to go for the move. And Bubbles will hold on, but he's going to have a look up the inside once again, and he's going to commit to it. But I think Bubbles is going to be able to hold it around the outside once more. Yes, he does, but Seuss trying everything he can, and he just needs to keep doing that. Keep poking his nose up the inside, trying to make a move on Bubbles. He knows he has the pace, but these two battling is going to lose then some time to the drivers in front and the drivers behind. And here we go now, 3-car battle for P6. Slowwolf leading this pack, Kenny behind in P7 and SVW in P8. Looks like Howdo's dropped down to P9 as well, so he's made a huge mistake somewhere, and he's obviously hit the wall. He's got some damage on the front of that Porsche. Viper still in P10, looking to make a move here on Howdo. But Lely's still in the pits. I'm not sure if he's going to continue this race. But Melvin's definitely going to be receiving a penalty for that if A report is put in, and Howard is slightly wide there on the exit of the S's. I think that he was just using the runoff there, and you are allowed to use that. Coming down towards Mineshaft now. Track has gone from wet to damp, so it's not as bad anymore, and the changing conditions can be throwing some people off here. But back down to this battle, it's now a 4-car battle. Seuss has made a huge mistake somewhere. He's down into P7. We've still got 7 minutes left before the pit window opens, so he doesn't want to pit before then. And now Slowwolf still leading this 4-car battle, but he's facing immense pressure from Kenny just behind. Kenny looks to have a nice run. Slowwolf, I think he may be going defensive now, coming up towards turn 1. No, moves back over to the racing line. Kenny not close enough to get the move done. Coming up towards Sunset Corner now. Slowwolf doing a good job at holding these drivers off. Let's actually go on board here with Slowwolf. There we go, finally got the right camera view. Seuss has dropped back slightly, he hasn't been able to keep up with maybe his damage that he's struggling with, because in the early stages of the race he definitely had the pace to keep up with the top 4, top 5. But Kenny slightly wide there, and is that going to allow SVW to have the outside? Yes, they are. I think they're side by side now, but Kenny's slightly ahead, and Kenny's going to hold on. SVW trying to go for the switchback, but it's not going to work. And this is allowing Slowwolf now to pull away from this pack behind. They need to try not to battle as much because they can keep up with Slowwolf here. Onto the brakes for Crocodiles. Seuss still not able to close in the gap to Kenny and SVW. Coming through Cheetah, and SVW's made a mistake there. He's run slightly wide but hasn't lost that much time, surprisingly. Now down to the start-finish straight. Slowwolf on for a good lap here. He's across the line, 1:49.2, his fastest lap of the race so far. Now that he hasn't had to defend from the drivers behind. They are catching back up once again, and slightly deep into turn 1 goes Kenny and SVW. And it looks like Slowwolf made a mistake there once again. So you can see Kenny catching back up to Slowwolf. Definitely has the pace over Slowwolf here, but it's just a matter of getting past and trying not to battle with SVW too much, because once they start battling they lose time to Slowwolf just up ahead, who are on board with at the moment. And now Kenny, the thing is with Kenny, he can't really go for a move here, because if he does, he's going to have to open up the door for SVW. He needs to take a different line to go for that overtake and possibly compromise the inside for SVW. It's quite difficult here. I think his best bet at the moment is just sitting there, waiting patiently. And oh, that's Slowwolf with a huge mistake there, way too late in the brakes. And waiting patiently has definitely paid off as soon as I say that, because Slowwolf now losing 2 positions. And there we go. He's now facing pressure from Seuss behind, but let's go back. Track side here. Oh dear, here we go then. That's Kenny and SVW side by side coming up towards the sunset corner, but SVW's had to back out of that one. He's going to focus on the exit here, coming up towards the next corner. But Kenny having to go defensive. He's kept his car in the middle of the track. And good defensive driving there from Kenny. Bubbles hasn't really been able to pull away that much to this pack. He's still about 2 seconds behind. And Ithan still running in P2. A very good job from Ithan. But SVW using all of the exit curb there on the exit of the S's. Melvin closing the gap to Ithan now 1.2 seconds. And that's Seuss up the inside of Slowwolf, and he's got the job done there. Slowwolf trying to go for an immediate reply, and I don't think he's close enough to do that at the moment. So good job there by Seuss. Getting the move done, and that is Howado into the wall there. Oh, he doesn't seem to be in the wall, but he's stopped the car on track. And he's returned it to the pits then. Looks like he just outbroke himself. Possibly. But he's into the pits, and not great to see that either. Just get confirmation on what happened from him. Let's see if his team reports back. But into turn 1 now. Seuss much later on the brakes than SVW. But he got the car stopped in time. And that is Kenny just in front, still leading this pack. They're closing the gap to Bubbles actually. Bubbles struggling in these conditions, I think. The gap is now 1.8 seconds. But look at the exit that Seuss had. He's got nowhere to go really. He has to just settle for P7 at the moment. And I thought he made a mistake there because we couldn't see his car. But he's okay at the moment. Oh, and we've got confirmation on what happened to Howado. His equipment is actually broken. Unfortunately, his accelerator pedal in that car is completely stopped working, so he's had to retire the car. Then that's really unfortunate for him. But here we go. SVW with a much better exit down mineshaft, and he's looking to go for the move, coming up towards the Crocodiles, and he's going to have a look up the inside, but no. He's not late enough on the brakes to get that move done, and Kenny holds on once more.
Pit window's open.
But look how close. There we go, pit window's now open. I wonder if Seuss is going to jump into the pits here. He knows he's stuck behind these two. And no, he keeps it out for another lap. So Seuss wants to get the move done on track. That's Bubbles into the pits then. Bubbles the first driver to serve his mandatory stop then into the pits. And now coming down the start-finish straight, Seuss has got a very good run coming up towards turn 1. Let's see if he's going to have a look up the inside. Yes, he is. Is he going to be later on the brakes? Much later on the brakes than SVW. And he's going to have the inside there, but SVW is going to hold it around the outside. They're going to be side by side here for turns 2 and 3. And SVW just about holds on there. Very good defensive driving. And I think Seuss has possibly been one of the cleanest drivers here tonight. He's been going for moves and not been making any contact with anyone. So good job there by him. Now coming through Sunset Corner. Once again, absolutely love Sunset Corner. Just trail brake through the corner there and try and get on the power as soon as possible. In the wet, it's definitely not easy though. And we're still on damp conditions. The drivers driving around the track have slightly warmed it up a bit and dried it out, but it's still damp. And now Seuss having to go, SVW having to go defensive. But Seuss not able to get the move done. There we go, we've got Ollie RSR into the pits as well. Bubbles is out on track. Looks like he had quite a long pit stop there. But that may... Yeah, seems like he had quite a long pit stop because Ollie RSR is quite close behind him. And Seuss having a look up the inside, coming up towards Cheetah on SVW. He's not able to get the move done. He may want to think about pitting now. And no, SVW dives into the pit, so Seuss is going to stay out longer. Ithan and Melvin are extremely close. Looks like Melvin has got the job done on Ithan. And Pinocchio now into the pits. And looks like Howard's equipment has completely failed him, unfortunately. Well, that's not a great sign for him. He is running well in this race, but now we go into Sunset Corner once again. Ethan really trying to fight back here, with Melvin looking to get this move back, this position back. Coming through the S's now. Ethan has had some impeccable pace here tonight. And he's definitely on for a podium position here, with Kenny and P4 12 seconds back. Nothing he has to worry about, but currently battling with Melvin for second here. Melvin not been able to pull away. He's got some damage on that car due to the contact earlier on. But Ethan and SVW with a stop-go 30 way too fast into the pits. And the pit exit here at Kyalami, one of the most difficult pit entries. And Ethan's going to have a look up the inside on Melvin. Very close there. I think maybe a slight dummy up the inside. But it didn't phase Melvin at all. He's going to continue there. Ethan may want to pit now. No, he's going to keep it back out on track. He's going to continue battling here with Melvin. I reckon he could have gone for an undercut. Yeah, he seems to have the pace on Melvin. But he's going to keep it out now. And SVW is going to have to serve that stop-go 30. At some point, he's got 3 laps to do so, and let's hope he doesn't make the same mistake that TTK made in Division 2, where he got disqualified for not serving it. In P5 we have Seuss just a second back to Kenny. And just 15 minutes left for this pit window. We'll wait and see when these drivers do pit. But Ethan really closing up to the back of Melvin through Sunset Corner. And Melvin's gone slightly wide, I think, or slightly deep into the corner. And that 4/10 gap has definitely... Oh, it seems to still be 4/10 actually between the two. It's just the camera angle we were looking at. And Kenny is now having to defend from Seuss. Seuss has dropped the gap down to Kenny to under a second, coming through the S's now. And the Audi with very good BOP here at Kyalami. He's looking to make a move, but Kenny with a very undamaged car there. Seuss is the complete opposite pretty much. He's got a lot of damage on the front of that Audi. I'm not sure if he's actually hit the wall anywhere. But he's been carrying that damage since early on in this race. And here we go through Crocodiles now. We go, and the gap between Melvin and Ethan is still very, very close. So Melvin not able to pull away. It's still exactly 4/10 as they cross the line, actually. Actually, no, not as they cross the line. Now it's increased to 6/10. And that's pretty much a similar gap between Kenny and Seuss. Ethan so late on the brakes into turn 1. Much more confident than Melvin is, and he's applying some very good pressure here. We're almost into the second half of this race, but back to this battle. Seuss is going to have a look up the inside, coming down towards turn 1. Kenny didn't go defensive, but he's going to hold it around the outside there. Has he gone wide? No, he's still got the inside, but I think that's going to be Seuss, the inside of the next corner. And oh, contact there. I think Kenny just lost the car. No fault of Seuss at all. He had nowhere to go. And Kenny with a mistake there. Oh, he's rejoined. No, he's rejoined and hit SVW. So a dangerous rejoin for Kenny, and he's hit SVW there. SVW's not going to be happy with that at all. And Kenny's going to get it going once again. But yeah, not the best rejoin from Kenny at all. And that could be an incident report from SVW. We'll have to leave that one to the stewards as well. But Melvin slightly opening the gap now to Ethan. These conditions proving very difficult for these drivers here tonight. And Mr. CJ said very good race so far from Kenny until that happened, unfortunately. So not a commentator's curse this time. a viewer curse, if you like to say so. And that's Melvin into the pits. Ethan looked to have a much better exit through Cheetah. He's going to keep it out, try and go for the overcut here. This could possibly work for Ethan. We shall see. All he needs to do now is put in the laps. And let's hope Melvin didn't get a stop-go 30. Otherwise he's going to be having to serve that. But Kingy has led this race without any trouble really. At the start he was further down and just played it patiently, and that's the thing, you need to keep out of trouble. And Kingy, one of the best for doing that, he just stays patient during the race. And there's no need to be aggressive so early on. And it's exactly what he does. He just waits there on the opening laps and waits for the other drivers to make a mistake. And the final few laps is where he really tries to battle. And as we saw at Laguna, he came out on top and won the race. But he's in a good position for winning round 7 here, and that could possibly put him in the lead of the championship. But we shall see. Now the closest cars on track at the moment, there's not a huge amount going on. But Kenny into the pits now. Ethan is slowly closing onto Kingy, but that's probably just the concertina effect. They're way too far from each other to really gauge any sort of prediction there. But Kingy very slow into the pits. I'm not sure if he overslowed the car, but Ethan's still keeping it out on track, looking to go for that overcut. Gap between Seuss and Slowolf is 6 seconds now. And Viper still out on track. Where is Deedee? Doesn't seem to have much damage on his car after... Oh, actually on the right hand side he does, and I think that's where he hit the wall after his spin. So the... Oh, Kingy into the pit. Oh yes, I already said that. Short-term memory there coming into effect. But no, there's just quite a lot going on. And sometimes you forget. But Ethan leading the race now. Put him into the provisional race lead. I believe that is the McLaren of Pinocchio just up ahead. He is a few laps down here. And there we go, halfway into the race now, just 10 minutes left for the pit window, and the drivers yet to pit are Deedee, Viper, Slowolf, Seuss and Ethan. Kingy had such a big lead that even after his mandatory stop he's come out ahead. Oh, that should be wrong actually. Is that wrong? No, he has come out ahead of Deedee after his mandatory stop. So he's in a comfortable lead here. And all he needs to do, I think, is bring it home. But it'll be interesting once the other drivers say their mandatory pit stop. This is what we're waiting for here. At the moment, it's pretty much stalemate, and the gap between Deedee and Melvin is coming down. Deedee won't have to move out the way for Melvin, though. Even they are on different strategies, so blue flags won't be waved at all. Melvin's going to have to get the move done on track if he wants to get past. But question is whether he can do it cleanly or not. Let's hope he can. And there we go, Seuss and Slowolf both into the pits at the same time. Be interesting to see where they come out in comparison to Bubbles, Oliarso and Kenny. Kenny, although with his spin, maybe a bit further back now. Indeed, he's still opting to stay out on track. Will he come in this time around? Or will he stay out on track? I think he's going to come in this time. Yes, he is. There we go. Deedee dives into the pits and gets it stopped. I think just in time there. So back to the race leader, provisional race leader, Ethan. And he's got plenty of time till the pit window closes. in Laser Camel saying comments curse. Yep, that's a better name for it. Mr. CJ saying Ithan needs to pit now. He's got some time to do so. He's out in clean air, so he could keep it out for a few laps longer. Let's see what he's going to do here. Comes through Cheetah now. Yep, he's going to keep it out for another lap or so. And the lap times here in the wet, they're around 140 something, I believe. And looks like Viper has come out in front of Bubbles. Viper up into P6. That will be... actually, no. Yeah, Viper into P6. Melvin in P3 at the moment. Kingy in P2. That will be P1 once Ithan pits. Seuss in P4. Slowwolf P5. The gap between Viper and Oli RSR is coming down. It's 1.3 seconds between those two. So we'll go and have a look at them. But here we go then. Looks like Viper... Oh, it's just a bit sidetracked there doing something. But looks like Viper has lost the position to Oliar. So 1.5 seconds of the gap now between those two. I'm not sure if I said it was the other way around before. Just let me know comments if I am going crazy at the moment. But Oliar in P7 and Viper falling back slightly, 1.5 seconds, and that is a car facing the wrong way. That is Bubbles there, I believe. Lost it through Cheetah Corner. He's tried to get the car going once again, and he's got he's put the power down there on the grass, and he's returned it to the pits. Ithan now serving his mandatory pit stop. So where will he come out in comparison to Melvin? They were battling beforehand, and Bubbles. Let's hope he can get it back out on track. Because if not, it's going to be a DNF. And he's definitely not going to be in Division 1 for next season. Here we go, currently watching Kingy. Where is Ithan? Has he been dropped from the Jacks? He's still sat there. Where is Melvin then coming through? Crocodile now. He's got, I believe that's Pinocchio behind him. Pinocchio's a few laps down. So nothing that he wants to worry about. Ithan still hasn't got going yet. Now there we go, been dropped off the Jacks. And there we go, he's got going. Melvin coming through the final corner. I think Melvin might have him. He's gone wide there. Where is Ithan? He's out of the pit lane. Pit limiter has been disengaged. And it's going to be side by side, I think, coming down towards turn 1. Ithan is in front actually, and he's kept it within the white lines of the pit exit, and it's, yes, it is side by side. Can Ithan hold it on the inside? He's held the inside. He's got the outside there for turn 3. He's going to have the inside for the next corner, and I think he's got the move done here on Melvin. Bit of contact there between Melvin and Ithan, and I think Ithan had not really anywhere to go. So some more contact with Melvin there. But not sure if it was any of their faults really. They're coming through Sunset Corner. I know Melvin's come out just up ahead. I'd count that one as hard racing there. And Ithan down into P3, but let's see what he thinks of it after this race. And looks like Bubbles still hasn't got going just yet. He needs to come back out on track if he wants to score points here, otherwise it will be a DNF next to his name. Possibly a demotion into Division 2 for next season. Retirements and DNFs and DNRs, so did not race, do count against you. So let's hope he does bring it back out on track. But Ethan really not going to give this position up so easily. I think this battle is going to come down towards the last few laps, really. Ethan with seems to have the pace advantage actually over Melvin coming down the start-finish straight now. The gap is down to 3/10 between the two. Is Ethan going to have a look coming towards turn one? He is. Is he going to be later on the brakes? No, he just backed out of that one. Just showing himself in the rearview mirrors of Melvin, and it seems to have paid off because Melvin has gone deep into turn one, and Ethan's going to have the inside for the next corner, barbecue corner, and he's got the job done there. Very good job by Ethan, and I think we're going to have to get a quick replay of that. Let's see if it will capture it. It might be a bit too far back. Let's have a quick look, and no, just about captures it there. But Ethan now up into P2. It's going to help him in. It's actually not going to help Melvin in the championship, but it's going to help Kingy a lot. It's going to extend this championship lead that he may have, or that he will have if he finishes the race in P1 at the end of this race. And Ethan with some amazing pace tonight, and I think this is the best performance we've seen him have throughout this season, really. And he's really improved here. He's got a bit of a slide there, but he's kept it together. Yeah, like I said, he's really improved during this season. And I think we've had a retirement there. That is Bubbles retiring the car. So he's not going to score any points. DNF for Bubbles. Not great to see at all. It's not what we like to see. Coming through Cheetah now. And that's Melvin wide through Cheetah. He's going to lose even more time to Ethan. And look at that, Ethan with over a second, I think, yeah, 1.8 seconds to Melvin. So I think Ethan's going to start to pull away now. I'll keep an eye on that battle on the delta between these two. Going back to the race leader, Kingy. 20 minutes to go. And he's pretty much out on his own with, what was the gap? Let's see once it shows up on the tower. I believe last time was about 18 seconds or so. Let's see if it wants to show us here. There we go, yep, 18.7 seconds to P2. And I really don't think he's got to worry about anyone but himself. There we go, pit window is now closed. Everyone has served their mandatory stop. But the two closest cars on track are Ethan and Melvin. Yeah, while we've got some, while the cars are a bit spaced out, make sure to sign up for next season if you haven't done so already. Spaces are filling up very, very quickly, and sign up for our off-season events as well. For PC, we've got the 6 hours of Suzuka on the 15th of May, and then for console we have the Triple Threat event on the 22nd of May, so make sure to sign up for those. There's only a limited amount of spaces left. I believe there's only about 3 spaces for the PlayStation event, and the 6 hours of Suzuka is filling up very fast as well. And Ifan has extended the gap to Melvin 2.3 seconds now. I think he's just going to start pulling away. Don't think there's any chance of Melvin catching him, barring any mistakes that Ifan makes. 17 minutes left of the race. Looks like Olyarasar is catching up to Slow Wolf now. Let's have a quick look at them. Slow Wolf coming through Cheetah at the moment. Olyarasar's got a 3.5 second gap. There's definitely enough time left in the race to close that down. And let's see what the gap is, what the delta is once they cross the line. 3.3, so it's come down by a couple tenths there. The gap is definitely coming down between these two, down to 3.1 seconds. I think this is going to come down to the last few laps between these two. Or maybe even before that. Olyarasar seems to have some good pace here in the final 15 minutes. Coming down towards Mineshaft now. This is where the next sector starts, sector 3. Back up to 3.3. So maybe not as much as we thought he would be closing in, but he definitely seems to have the pace. It might have just been the concertina effect, like I mentioned earlier. Yeah, not a huge amount of action going on at the moment. So once again, thanks to our patrons. If you're interested in becoming a patron, be sure to check out the link in the description. So it's www.patreon.com/SimZone. It's the first link there in the description, and you do get some extra benefits by supporting us here. So please be sure to check that out. And the gap has come down between Slow Wolf and Olyarasar. It's down to 2.2 seconds. He's really closing the gap now. He's found his groove. And once you see a car ahead of you, it's so much easier to follow and push yourself. Slow Wolf with a bit of oversteer there on the exits. Now coming through the S's. Let's go on board with Olyarasar here. Let's hope this doesn't curse him. We're on board now with Olyarasar. And that is Slow Wolf just up ahead in the AMG. It looks like he went very deep there into Crocodiles. That's allowed Slow Wolf to really close the gap even more through Cheetah. Bentley doesn't really struggle with the curbs at all. You can see how smooth Olyarasar there is on his steering inputs. That's what you need to do in the wet. There we go. His last lap of 1:47.8, so just a tenth off of his best lap of this race. And the Bentley is coming alive in the final stages of this race. Coming up towards Sunset Corner. I think Slow Wolf's going to have to start defending in a couple laps, or a lap or so even. Mercedes not really having, it hasn't really got the pace in the later stages now, and I wonder if he's changed tyres or not, because obviously tyre change here tonight isn't mandatory, only refueling is mandatory, and by having that option to change tyres, it really puts on a play on strategy. You have all sorts of overcuts, undercuts. It makes things much more interesting. But on tracks like this, on narrow tracks like this, you can afford to not change tyres. And Slowolf once again very deep on the brakes. Oliarasar even closer than he was last time around. Coming up towards Cheetah now. And it just looks like Oliarasar is much more precise through there. And he's taking a bit more of a risk by taking the curb on the inside. It doesn't seem that Slowolf wants to do that. Now coming down the start-finish straight. He's going to have the slipstream of Slowolf just up ahead. And it is helping him because you can see his delta for his best lap improving ever so slightly. Slowolf with a slightly different line compared to Oliarasar, but he's keeping the car in the middle of the track, back over to the racing line. Oliarasar having a look up the inside, just the dummy there from him. He knows that he can't go for a move here through Sunset Corner, but he's just trying to get into the head of Slowolf here. Slowolf seems to be struggling with a lot of understeer on that AMG. Coming through the S's now. So I do wonder if it's tyres and different lines. Once again, Oliarasar focusing on the exit, but I think he got a bit of a slide there by taking a bit too much curb. So he didn't get the exit he hoped for. We'll go trackside once again here. And looks like Oliarasar and Slowolf side by side now. No, he's got the job done even before the next corner. So Oliarasar up into P5, Slowolf down into P6. And good job by Oliarasar. He's got the move done, but Slowolf looks eager to get this position back. He's very close, but I think he's lost some speed out of the final corner there. And he may not be able to get this move back coming down towards turn 1. We know how quick the AMG is on the straights, but no. He's too far back. Oliarasar thought about going defensive, but he's going to hold on now and possibly pull away. You've seen his lap time is much quicker than Slowolf's. On the leader, Kingy has opened up a 15-second gap to Ithan in P2. Ithan has opened up a nearly 5-second gap to Melvin in P3, and Seuss has only got 2.5 seconds to Melvin in P3, so he may be catching up. We'll keep an eye on that delta. With just under 9 minutes left of the race to go, time is running out. And I'm sure some of these drivers are going to be feeling more and more pressure. Yes, it's coming down, 2.1 seconds. Then let's quickly go on board with Seuss. Has he actually repaired his damage? Let's see. I think he has. Let's see if he gets any closer, then we can see. Actually, no, he hasn't repaired his damage. No, he hasn't repaired his damage. So he's been driving with that damage since pretty much the opening few laps of the race, and he's still catching Melvin here in P3. Let's see what the gap is once they cross the line. 2.2 seconds. So it's definitely coming down. And Melvin may find himself having to defend very shortly here. Oliarasar, after overtaking Slowolf, has opened up that gap to 1.5 seconds now. Kenny is 4 seconds back to DD, so that may be something we want to look out for as well. The gap between these two increased ever so slightly. Just one mistake can end it all here. Let's go on board with Seuss. Coming up towards Barbecue, then Seuss is up on his time. You can tell he's pushing the car. He wants to try and get this move done. He's got Melvin in sights now. Just 5.5 minutes left to go. There's not many laps left. May have 2 or 3 more laps, depending where the race leader King is. Through the S's on the exit. Seuss looking to match his best time here so far. The gap is definitely coming down to Melvin. Let's see, let's have a quick look if we can see what it is. 1.2 seconds is the gap to Melvin, just up in front. Definitely coming down. The last time we saw it was about 2.1 seconds. Melvin's struggling with the tyres here in the later stages of this race. Seuss with some good pace here. He may even be on for a 47 this lap if he can keep it together. Coming up towards the final corner now. Keeps it tucked in nicely. Not really any oversteer, and he's still 2/10 up. So this may be a 47 as he crosses the line. Oh no, it wasn't. That was to his last lap then, sorry. So he's done a 48. 0.66, so 300s pretty much slower than his best lap. The gap now to Melvin down to 1 second. You see there in comparison, Oliver Assar in P5 is on a 1:48.051, so ever so slightly quicker than Seuss in P4. And Melvin's gone deep there. He's going to have to be careful. He's making mistakes now. Seuss looks to be within 4 or 3/10 to Melvin, just up ahead. Coming through the S's now. And I think it's just a matter of time before Seuss can get this move done. Melvin's going to want to have to defend for his life here in the final few minutes. I'm sure he's going to be feeling the pressure now. Seuss much later on the brakes there. But he's really caught up to the back of him. Slightly different lines though. I don't think that's benefited Seuss. Don't think that was actually intentional there from him. Going through this fast sweeping left-hander now up towards Crocodiles. Seuss the upper hand in the final few minutes of this race. And that's Melvin, bit too fast there through Cheetah, and they're going to be side by side coming through the final corner. Seuss is going to try and go for the switchback, and I think it may have worked there. He's late earlier on the brakes, and they're side by side now coming down towards turn 1. Melvin's slightly ahead. No, I think Seuss is slightly ahead now, and he's going to have the inside for turn 1. No, Melvin is ahead. He's going to have the inside for turn 1 is Seuss. But is he going to be later on the brakes here? Can Melvin hold it around the outside? No, he's going to go for the switchback to have the inside for Barbecue. But it's ever so close between these two, and Melvin just about holds on there. And Seuss is really putting on the pressure. Melvin's going to have to go defensive, I think, coming up towards Sunset Corner. He moves back over to the racing line. Seuss looking left and right, trying to find an opening here, but it's not working just yet. And time is running out for Seuss. Bit of a wiggle there from Melvin, and Seuss is going to have a look around the outside, coming into this left-hander. No, hasn't been able to get the move done yet. White flags being waved once again for some odd reason. There's no slow car up ahead, from what I can see. Now on the exit of the S's, Seuss's best opportunity is through these final few corners, I think, in the heavy braking zone. So the last corner into Crocodiles and turn 1 as well is a very good opportunity to make a move. Coming up towards Crocodiles now, Melvin having to go defensive. Seuss is going to try around the outside. He's just going to focus for the better exit, actually. There we go, leader on the final lap now. And Seuss not close enough to go for a move through the final corner. He wants to focus on the exit to get the better run down the start-finish straight. And remember, he's going to have the tow. Both these drivers carrying some damage on their cars. And Seuss with some good closing speed there. He's going to have a look up the inside, but Melvin defending the inside now. So he's going to be on the outside here for turn 1. Is he going to go for the switchback? No, he's actually going to try it around the outside there. And not able to get the move done. This is the last lap for Seuss to get this move done. And the pressure is going to be on for both of these drivers. We've got Mr. CJ saying Seuss is going to get him. It's going to be close here. Kyalami, not the easiest tracks to overtake. And it's so narrow. Trying to get past the big Lexus like that isn't easy at all. And Melvin's just placing his car where it needs to be. But we've seen him make a few mistakes. And Seuss is going to try and capitalise on that. But back to the race leader here. He's coming through Mineshaft now. So not just at the end of the lap yet. And Seuss really eager to get this move done. He's trying everything he can to get past. I'm sure the damage isn't going to be helping him at all here. Let's go back to the race leader. Kingy coming through Cheetahs. Now down towards the final corner. A dominant victory for him, and he's going to take the lead of the championship here in Division 1. Rounds off the final corner, and flash of the lights there from him, finishing in P1. Amazing race there from Kingy. Ithan in P2 with a very good result from him also. Flash of the lights there from him. I'm sure he's going to be very happy with that result. Melvin holding off Seuss through the final corner. I think he's kept it together there. So Melvin's going to hold him off, finishing in P3. It's not over yet. So there we go, crossing the line in P3. Seuss in P4 with a very good result also. Oliarasar coming up to the final corner in P5. Good result there from Oliarasar as well. We saw him have some contact with Bubbles, I think it was, earlier on in the race. He's going to finish in P5. Slow Wolf in P6 with a good result from him as well. Flash of the lights there from Slow Wolf. Viper in P7, not the best result from him, but it's still points. And we'll see where it puts him in the championship after this round. Finishes in P7. DeeDee still got some time to go. He'll be in P8, SVW P9, Kenny P10, Knuckle in P11 as well. But we'll see the full results once they all cross the line here. Good result from DeeDee as well. Had a very good qualifying session actually in Kyalami. And rounding off the final corner now, DeeDee in P7. Crossing the line, there we go. SVW crossing the line in P8 then. And Kenny in P9. So that is your race results there for tonight. Kingy winning the race in P1, Ithan in P2, Melvin in P3, Seuss in P4, Oliarasar P5, Stowolf P6, Viper P7, DeeDee P8, SVW P9, Kenny P10, Pinocchio P11, and those three that retired from the race bubbles, Howder and Lely, will not be scoring points. So there we go then. Make sure to tune in on Tuesday for the Porsche Super Cup, the last round of the season for the Porsche Super Cup. And until then, have a good evening and good night.